Yes, we were in procession away. First of all, I did in the morning when I saw the barricade, when I arrived at 6 a.m. in town, because I was having a media interview within town. So I went there, I saw the barricade, Procession Road. I also saw the one next to Arboretum, next to State House Girls. And of course, now we are prepared that there was a barricade. But when we began the morning, we began with the mass at Holy Family, then went to lay flowers. We had actually requested the police to allow us to go and lay the flowers in Parliament. Mm-hmm. But of course, the barricade could not allow you to put the flowers in Parliament. So we put the flowers on the barricade. So can you imagine those expensive flowers we bought for these, our dear fellow Kenyans who passed on, and we only left them on the wire mesh. I think I felt disappointed, but of course, we had to just follow the police order because the law had been gone. Because they should say law and order. The law had been violated, but now there was order that we didn't want to confront the police, so we took it easy. But the best way to summarize this day is that there was the good, there was the bad, and there was the ugly. So what was ugly was about these things like you tell, loss of life, because we didn't want to have any loss of life. What was ugly was the beating the policemen. Some of them beat somebody in the room. Actually, I was even involved in giving first aid right in front of Holy Family. Today, Holy Family did not have a first aid place, though Jamia Mosque was giving one. All Saints also, there was no first aid like last year on 25th of June. So the ugly scenes were the town was completely deserted. No one would be able to do normal business in town. I'm sure I saw people who had newspaper vendors that told me, Professor, if you guys are doing all this, we can't even have food today. So, of course, that's the loss of opportunity to do business, to build the country, to build the nation. So we became more of a running and chasing nation than a working nation. Of course, now when you come to the good part of it, actually the bad, because the ugly was just very ugly. The bad part was that there was a lot of extra force being used. I don't think these people deserve to have that force. Like there is a time I saw a young man being beaten very thoroughly with some rope, and I thought that was just a little bit too much. Then you see 3-4 policemen confronting one person who is unarmed after he had even nothing even on his hands. So how can 3 policemen, descend on one man? But also saw a video circulating, I think Charles was commenting on it, that there's a policewoman who was beaten by the protesters. I can't confirm because it was not my eyewitness, but in case if that happened, I think that is part of the bad part of the Maandamano. But the good part, which I like, I'm not extremely happy, but I like it, that there are some policemen who are telling people, go back, go away. You know, I like that. And say, I want to pass. Then you go back. You know, that conversation, I found it very friendly. Because normally they throw something at you. Normally they beat you up. Then when they refused to do, they were given nyaunyo. You know, this nyaunyo thing, even my mother gave me, so I remember. I think Charles and I come from the same village. And I'm sure he knows my mother is called Nyager. They are very good in nyaunyos. They gave us a little bit of that. So I found that one a little bit friendly. I mean, it's just telling you, don't come here. So unachapwa kidogo. Of course, they should not be beaten, but I'm not saying beating them was good, but that was better than what I could see earlier. So the good, the bad, and the ugly. And of course, I hold that some places like in Kangware, I have information that looting took place. There are fires, for example, the one in Kikuyu. I'm sure somebody who puts fire in a building, this is somebody who really planned. But the only thing I don't like, I see a narrative which is spreading across the board, which is not a good way to look at this day. I'm sure Charles is going to tell you.
But before we go to the narrative, I just wanted to ask, also, you are on Processional Way.
Yes.
Heading to State House.
Yes.
You know very well this is a protected territory.
Yeah.
What was the intention?
No, we were just trying to achieve what we can achieve.
Which was what?
To go to State House. That was the day we were to go to State House.
To State House?
Debal, I have a petition which is before the court stating that declaring State House as protected area is unconstitutional. In fact, this is a pre-colonial thing. It doesn't exist.
But yeah, that is.
I even have a letter from the former Inspector General advising me on the violations, but we are in court. I can tell you, Deval, when Trump bombed Iran, Americans went before White House. This protected area, which protected area? That's a public space. Why are we trying to look so special? If you are a president...
But as it stands, the law takes preeminence right now. Yours is still a petition, right? That it's not been given any ruling by the court.
It has no constitutional backing. There is no chapter. And I want to tell anyone to challenge me, which article, which chapter of the Constitution declares State House as protected area? There is nothing. There is nothing like that. These are acts of parliament, and there are way too many. Parliamentarians make acts just to protect themselves and put people far away. Let me tell you what, the Constitution is supreme to every other law made on the land. And any law which is not compliant with the Constitution is not really above the Constitution. So according to me, I would
expect, a professor of your intellectual provenance should be, of course, fully, aware that having status as a protected area, it is just for the stability of his country and for security of the presidency, who is, a stabilizing figure for the country.
But you see, when you hear...
So there is an act.
When you hear the Gen Z say the fear is over, the fear is gone, we've lost everything in this country. Who is leading us in breaking the law? There was no law we broke. We were just going to State House. If they came out and said you're not entering, like we said we are laying flowers in Parliament, and they said you're not entering, because these things were people are noticed, people are given notices.
All right. So you make your way to State House, the president is not there, then what?
He didn't tell us he was not there. It was in rumors. So I don't know whether he told you.
Was he to tell you that yeah?
Debal, we had written police notices, I can show you, in all, even state houses. I've ever done that to all state houses, that people should go and take petitions about this matter. Because what's happening, my brother? People tweet, people tag him, he doesn't listen. People shout, he doesn't listen. So I wanted to tell him now, physically, if you call somebody in your nearby house and they don't pick their calls, you send them an email, they don't reply. Now you might actually be forced to go and knock the door and say, hey, I'm talking to you. We are thinking, maybe we are thinking there's a president, but he's not a human being. We wanted to have a feel and touch. Does he have flesh? I mean, when people are dying like Ojwang's case and you don't even care, you hear what they're talking about and Raila Odinga, do they have a feeling? You understand? So we were checking, do these people live? And they never told us in any letter or tweet. He's talking in the evening, saying he's in Kilifi. Did he not appear and say, I'm in Kilifi? If he was in Kilifi, he could have told the nation, anybody coming to State House, don't come because I'm in Kilifi. Because his officers knew we were coming. That's why they guarded the place. The officers knew we were coming, that's why they put the wire mesh. If the officers didn't know, then why, which means our notice reached him. So he knew we were coming. Why did you tell us we're in Kilifi? Then we say, okay, if you're in Kilifi, let us plan how we can come to Kilifi or send other members of the public to see you in Kilifi.